Welcome guys to the Building Thriving Lifestyles podcast. I'm your host Eik Gilladóttir and I love to grow better humans by challenging myself and others. Today marks the very first day of a completely new year, and what a better time to pause, take a moment and reflect on the past year. How was 2022 for you? New year for many mark new beginnings. It often feels in the new year that you have all the possibilities, hopes, plans, and expectations for the upcoming year. And it is really one of the best times to open a new chapter and head off to a fresh start. It is also the best time to kind of reflect as well, to take a look back on the past year, to recognize what has been working really well for you, what hasn't been working well, and what would you do differently moving forward. This is why on today's episode, I am going to share with you a step-by-step guide on how to take an inventory and do some self-reflection on the past year, and then make sure that you head into the new year with some goals and intentions that feel motivating for you. And I'm going to share with you some tricks and tips on how to do that. This podcast episode is brought to you by my own clothing line and my clothing brand. I sell merchandise through my website. It includes this t-shirt, an oversized tie-dye t-shirt, but you can check out all my merch on my website under merchandise. So make sure to check it out, order yourself a couple of new things. You might even enjoy that winter hoodie. It's going to be super warm and cozy throughout winter. Now, the first step on this new chapter journey is self-reflections. Think of it this way. Self-reflections is kind of like looking into the mirror and describing exactly what you see. So it basically is assessing yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, what worked well for you and what didn't work for you. It's ultimately the key to self-awareness, and later is what leads to a very healthy self-belief system. This is a really important skill that can be applied to all aspects of learning and whatever you might be developing or trying to achieve. I could think of so many ways self-reflection is going to positively affect you as an individual, but there is one that just really stands out to me. Self-reflection really promotes your own growth and your own accountability. It helps you become more self-aware and realize what your faults are and how you can improve from here. It's also really important to use the self-reflection to kind of give yourself a little pat on the back every now and then and compliment yourself on the stuff that is going well. So now when you look back on the year that just passed, pause, take a moment and think and ask yourself, how has your relationships been in the past year? How has your work been in the past year? How has your health been? And what did you do to improve all those areas in your life? To guide you, I have a few more questions that you can write down right now or head to this blog post, copy them in and add them to a little bit of a journaling practice or write them down on a piece of paper. But I'm going to read them to you here. What goals were you able to achieve in the last year? What goals are you still working on? Who were the most important persons in your life in the last year, and how did he or she help you out? What were the positive experiences that you're most thankful for in the last year? If given the chance, what would you change out of your behaviors from last year? What were your biggest challenges and hurdles in the past year? What are some of the things that you think that you need to leave behind and step away from in the past year? What were your fears in the last year? What were you scared that would happen? And what could have been done differently in the last year that could have led to a better result this year? So make sure to answer some of these questions. They don't all apply to everyone, but make sure to pick 3 to 5 and kind of note down your own answers to them. You'll find the link in the description below in show notes. Now, once you've done a little bit of an inventory and a self-reflection on your past year, now you'll be able to more clearly and more effectively write down goals and how you're going to achieve them in the next year. And it's really important to know that you can't just skip the first section. You have to do some reflections before you head into the goal, because you have to know why something is important to you and how you're going to implement it. But now it's time to think about things that you want to achieve, activities that you want to do more of, and even what kind of a person you would like to be or who you would like to hang out with more. Most often, when people start to set themselves goals, they are advised to set themselves SMART goals that are purely outcome based. And then it kind of stops here. You will recognize these type of goals as someone who, for example, in the new year wants to lose 5 kilos. The problem with this method is that when you set a SMART goal for yourself, you don't start to show yourself the way that you're going to achieve your goals. You only kind of state the goal, and that can feel very demotivating and can put the power in the hands of something that's outside of your control. So let me bring an example just to highlight this. So if you set yourself the goal that you want to lose 5 kilos by February 28th, you're going to give yourself 8 weeks for it, then you are partially focusing on things that you are outside of your control. For example, you are not in charge of how your metabolism reacts to your dieting. You don't always control these external factors. You're also heavily focused on how much that scale is pulling on you on that given day. You can scroll back in my library to hear and talk about or listen to why I don't think you should use your scale as your number one benchmark for success. And all these factors make it really easy to get sidetracked and to lose motivation. Because what happens if you only lose 3 kilos by the 28th of February? Does that mean you failed, or are you still on your way? These SMART goal setting is not super helpful. The way that I help clients to get around it, in addition to the SMART goal setting, I help them to further divide their goals into performance goals and to process goals. AKA, you can also call this what I want to be able to do and what I need to do repeatedly in order for my desired outcome that I outlined in the SMART goal. So I'm not saying you should scrap the SMART goal all in all. I'm just saying setting the SMART goal is kind of just the first phase of it, and then we're going to dive into the second phase here. The reason why I found this to be super helpful is because this is a more motivating way of setting goals. It shifts the focus away from the things that are not within your control, and it puts focus back on the things that are within your control. So most people experience a huge sense of relief when they find out it's easier to be successful if they only stick to X, Z, and Y. So let's look a little bit more into details on how to set these goals. When you set performance goals, you want to focus on beating yourself. I want you to set an achievable goal that really matters to you and that aligns with your self-reflections that you did before. So let's say that one of the things that you reflected on from your past year is that it's really important to you to experience freedom and to have opportunities to be outside. So you visualized yourself being free, running in the mountains. So let's start with performance goals, which is I want to be able to run 5 kilometers on both trails and uneven surfaces in the next summer. So that is a performance goal. So it's related to your outcome goal, which is to have more freedom and to experience more fitness in the outside, but you've kind of narrowed it down and said, I need to be able to run 5 kilometers on trail and uneven surfaces. On a different goal, if your goal is to lean out and lose weight and look more athletic, maybe you visualize yourself on a beach with a six-pack or big biceps or something like that, or you want to slim out to look good in your bikini, then your performance goal could sound something like this. I want to have the ability to do a pull-up or 10 pull-ups with my own body weight, and I want to make sure to lower my body fat percentages to about 15% where I have visual abs and visual veins before my next holiday. So that can also be a performance goals. You need to make sure that these kind of performance goals are not aimed at other people. For example, I don't want you to set goals which are something like, I want to run faster than my friend or my husband, because that takes the control out of your hands. So if you set yourself the goal to run faster than your husband, then, if he starts running training, then all of a sudden your goal is now dependent on his progress with his training, which we want to avoid. Once you've outlined 2 or 3 progress goals for yourself or performance goals, next thing is that we're going to outline some process goals. Okay, so you're going to take these goals down and you're going to break them down even further into something that you can achieve on a daily or a weekly basis, and you can make sure that you can tick off that item off your list and say to yourself with full honesty, if I do this for this much time, then I will be able to see results that I want. So if we again visit our friend that wanted to run free in the mountain and wanted more outdoor sports in her life, she is going to break down her goals even further to this. So she wants to join the Couch to 5 kilometer running program that is on the Fit with Egg Journeys site. And this program is aimed to help you achieve the goal of becoming a runner. So she's gonna join the Couch to 5K program, then she's gonna schedule in those 3 to 4 weekly sessions according to the running program, and then make sure that one of those runs each week is some kind of a uneven surface, even just next to the pathway walk in her neighborhood. And then because of the temperature, she's going to drink more waters when she starts running to make sure that she's well hydrated and good to go for her next running session. For our friend that was aiming to be leaner on the beach, or the girl that wanted to look good in a bikini, she is going to make sure to sign up to a gym and start lifting some weights. She decides to start with a 2-split program for her lifting weights about 3 times a week, and then make sure to hire a coach or join a course that helps her progress towards the pull-up that you're going to be doing every week. So there'll be some part of her strength training that's focused on the pull-up specific training. Now, because that goal also has some nutritional component to it, we're going to set a micro goal in adjusting portion sizes, so to make sure that you are losing weight. So not necessarily counting every single macro, but having a review of your portion sizes that help you maintain weight, reducing them slightly, make sure to eat more protein so that you're fueling your muscles to grow from all your strength training. So I hope you see that the way that you kind of take a vision or a goal, a bigger thing in your life, you break it down into a SMART goal, saying what do you want to specifically achieve. Okay, what do you need to achieve the thing, and what do you need to do to achieve the thing, to achieve the bigger thing. So that's kind of how we break goals down into really small, eatable portions. It's super easy to say, okay, this week, all I have to do is X, Z, and Y so that I can achieve my goal later on. That way, it also feels so much more motivating as you get along. Now, best of luck planning your goals. I hope this slightly different method feels motivating to you and that you can take some of the control back into your hands. Most importantly, I really hope that helps you set you up with success on your road to achieve your goals. But if you want my help to kind of set your goals, if you need some feedback on your goal setting and you want some professional opinion on it, then I am opening up a limited amount of spots for clients starting in this new year. And you can DM me on Instagram or WhatsApp or send me an email if you want to get involved. I am going to end this blog with a quote to encourage you. People with goals, they end up succeeding because they know where they're going. Wishing you the very best year. Let me know in comments below if this was helpful, and I'll see you next time.